playing, it looks to me like Mubarak and Sangakkara, their sole job is to bat around Jayasuriya. Sangakkara's played conventionally, and yet he's got his strike rate to 100 with this fast outfield. All they have to do is find the gaps. Australia haven't given them many gaps at the moment. They've got a tight ring right around the batsman. You can see at the top right of screen, there's Hussey out at mid-wicket. And then there's one out behind those two. At the top of screen, out behind Michael Clarke, there's one out there too. It's Nathan Bracken out at point. That's Mike Hussey, who just saw that six go straight over his head. And that's a big hit. That's about 80 metres to get. And then that side of the ground's about 60 metres. Hopes is looking to protect that. Jayasuriya, if he gets onto that cut shot, Bracken's got nothing to do. There's the cut shot along the ground, and Hopes kept it to none. 8 off the over, 1 for 86.
Oh, what a catch! That's an unbelievable...
It's less than an hour, or just over an hour. Leg by, Sangakkara gets Jayasuriya up on strike.
Well, decision time for Ricky Ponting. This is the 15th over. They had the first 10 plus the he took the power play after 10 overs, and pretty well every time we've seen the captain take the second power play straight through. So the first 20 overs have involved the opening 10 plus the 2 power plays. Be interesting to see if he does it this time.
Jayasuriya pinched a single there. Well, he's erred, hasn't he? Ponting has erred in using the power play now because that man's so dangerous. But his average against Australia is not that good. Career, it's 347 matches, the most by any Sri Lankan. He's one of 4 players in the world that have scored more than 10,000 runs. And his career average is 31.8. Strike rate nearly 89, right up there with the very best. But his record against Australia is about 21 against them. But today, the omen is he's well set. Sangakkara takes a single as well. Now, we haven't seen that for a while, Chappelli. Australia being so deep at mid-off and mid-on that singles can be taken.
That's good cricket, good running between wickets. And it's what you've got to do. If there's not a boundary on offer, you've got to be looking for singles. And this is where South Africa have made their mistakes at the top of the order against Australia.
Slower ball, he scoops it over the cover field, it's safe. And that'll bring up his 50. Listen to the Sri Lankan supporters.
Off 39. If you think he's getting a move on here, well, I had the good fortune to see him when he got his what was the fastest 100. He got 100 off 48. Another 9 balls we're talking about on what he's had today, and he was 100. And boy, wasn't he going that day. That was worth seeing.
Yeah, it's pretty slack today. Get on with it. 39 balls, 50 runs. Don't worry about just the Sri Lankan supporters either. The Australians are glued to this here at the SCG, and I'm sure you are at home. Again, tight ring around Jayasuriya. He's taken guard again. He's put his head down. He wants more of this. On the pads, there's an appeal. The umpire says no.
Bad sign for Brett Dorey. When he looked around, the umpire was heading away to the offside. And he's just telling Brett Dorey, pitched outside leg, and he's absolutely spot on, Mark Benson. But that's not what a bowler wants to see when he looks around after he's appealed for LBW. The umpire on the move.
Can they keep Jayasuriya quiet again? Wide, dangerous technique, that's for sure. He's not quiet. And the last ball of the 15th, it's 1 for 95.
Oh, what a catch!
The field up. It's an attacking move. Can it pay off? Can they get a wicket? It's gutsy. That's what they're looking for. Dot balls. But Jayasuriya, how do you stop him? 54 or 41.
Yeah, we hear a lot recently about whether Shane Warne will play one-day cricket or not in the future, and this is one situation where you really need a Shane Warne, somebody who can come on, spin the ball a bit, and looked like getting a wicket with the field up.
Oh, yes.
There's not many spinners who can do that. In fact, there's very, very few. That really was the art of Shane Warne in a one-day game. You could bring him on, as it used to be under the old system with 15 overs and the field restrictions. You could bring him on in that first period with only 2 guys out, and he might get you a wicket.
Slower ball that time from Hope, so he's done a good job this over. However, it could be 4. This one, that is dynamite. Hussey does well, keeps it to 3.
Well, Sydney Cricket Ground, when it gets quick here, it is very, very quick, that outfield. Certainly quick today. That was just a little push away on the onside, and it was actually gathering speed. Mike Hussey at one stage would have thought that he'd get around to that comfortably standing up, pick it up and make the throw himself. But in the end, he had to dive.
Oh, it's a big shot. And it's a beauty. No ball and 4.
There's the 100 up in the 16th over. Once again, you see that bottom hand of Joe Surya. He's just given that a bit of a shove with the bottom hand, and it's disappeared.
Oh.
Oh, the crack off the bat. His timing's been perfect today, using this fast outfield to his great advantage. That was spot on in the middle of the bat. Magnificent. The Australians' heads all looked skyward and just said, wow, we can't do anything about this bloke. They've tried a slower ball. He's got a little leg glance past the short, fine leg for 3. Down the ground, short, full. What do we do?
That innings I was just talking about in Singapore, when he got the fastest 100, his 100 personally, Joe Surya's own 100 came up in this over, the 16th over. He brought up his own 100 in that innings. It was remarkable.
Hope's his last ball of his 3rd over. Has he ever gone for 35 in 3 before? He's tried everything that over. Slower balls, faster ones, leg side, offside. And still 9 runs come from it. 1 for 104.
Oh, what a catch! That's an unbelievable.
Round. Bracken stays short. The pull shot's on and the man's there.
Joe Surya just gave that one a tap. It carried about 3/4 of the way to Michael Hussey in the deep. They have troubled him sometimes with the short one straight at the body rather than outside the off stump. You won't trouble him too much outside the off stump, but some teams have troubled him by making him pull and trying to cramp him for room. I've seen a few just pop straight up in the air on the bouncier pitches, but on that occasion he had enough room to get the arms free.
Not easy for Bracken either, bowling into a strong breeze, but the protection square of the wicket, so I guess he has to be short like that. That's why the attack is short. He's got a man on both sides of the ground square of the wicket out on the boundary, so can't afford to over pitch because the batsmen are hitting down breeze. The breeze is going strongly from left to right, and you can see Hussey down the bottom of your screen and a fielder at the top of your screen over the other side of the boundary. He's bowling into that breeze. He can't afford to over pitch, I'd imagine. So he's got the pressure on him to keep this economy rate going.
Bit of a tactical battle going on at the moment. The Sri Lankans would realise that Lee has really been more than the foundation of the Australian attack. He really has been a huge part of this Australian attack, and if the Sri Lankans can keep him to 1 wicket in 10 overs, even if they don't get a lot of runs off him, I think they'll feel that they've won that little battle.
He doesn't take long. Fine leg gets it that time. Oh, a little deflection off the stumps and they pinch 1. First power play went for 53 runs in the 5 overs. This one, halfway through it or just a little more, it's only 13. So Australia have pegged it back in the last 2.5 overs.
Silly firing the ball at the stumps like that, really, when the batsman's going to be in his crease. You're not going to run him out. Yeah, I think, though, that the Sri Lankans will be happy because they forced Australia to go back to their 2 main bowlers and use up a few of those overs in this power play.
That's right. I guess the option is maybe to burn Brett Dorey. He's got 6 overs to go. Maybe sub him out. Sub him out and get Hogg on for him. You don't want to lose Hope's batting ability, I suppose. So he would be the other one. Alternatively, see what Clark and Simons are going to do in the bowling attack before you might cancel Dorey and sub him out. Just 3 off the over so far. Last ball. Ball. He finds the gap and makes it 7 off the over. 18 overs finished, 112 the Sri Lankans. Pull shot this time, it's a top edge. Is it 4? Is it 6? It's in the crowd.
Well, it's worth the risk for Jayasuriya because there's no one back at fine leg. Once again, it was a well-directed short pitch delivery from Brett Lee. This is another area where he's really improved. He's making the batsman do something with his short pitch delivery. He's already picked up a wicket with a very well-directed bouncer, and on that occasion his pace has hurt him and it's finished over the rope.
Down breeze too. He only used the pace beautifully, and downwind it flew.
We heard Ricky Ponting say at the toss that sometimes the Sydney cricket ground pitch slows up a bit at night. Ian, you had a pretty close look at it. You thought that this may not, this pitch.
Well, as we say there, he's just called on Brad Hogg, but I think this pitch is as good as I've seen for one-day cricket at Sydney, and if any's going to stay consistently paced for the whole 100 overs, it's this one. So tonight is a chance for it not to slow up as much as normal, but it'd probably have to slow up in this innings as well. When the ball gets a little old, it'll grip and it'll spin. That's why Ricky Ponting's probably called for Hogg. Who's he going to substitute out is the key. So tonight, I think Australia, it'll be still good batting conditions, probably better batting conditions than normal. Second part of the game in Sydney.
That's a good long lineup, batting lineup for Sri Lanka. Chaminda Vaas is a very useful hitter. So plenty of batting to come, and they're going to post Australia. Pretty decent target. And Australia probably going to substitute Dorey, I would think, for Hogg.
Full that time. Wow, look at that timing. Right from the word go today, he timed it into the cover region.
The speed of this outfield, it's away. Fielders just stood there and watched it go by.
They have had protection out there for Nathan Bracken, but not for Brett Lee. They've just got a tight offside ring and a third man down there for the top edge cut, maybe. Jayasuriya has been able to play shots and boundary shots in every region of the ground. He looks so calm, he's so settled. He wants to be out there for so long.
Well, it's 27 off 4 now in this power play, or sorry, after one more ball it'll be 4 overs. So 6 and over in the power play. They'll be happy with that.
Good finish there, 10 off the over. Only 2 scoring shots, so Brett Lee bowled a good over, still went for 10. Who's the substitute going to be? Hogg's running on some shoes. It's 1 for 122.
It's a wonderful day in Sydney. Glorious sunshine, up in the late 20s, not too humid. Strong breeze coming across the ground to the benefit of everybody. Not a cloud in the sky. Couldn't really imagine better conditions for a one-day international. The VB series has already had some twists and turns, and we're in for a cracking afternoon and evening here. Yep. Maximum.
Almost twice the maximum. That was a beautiful shot. And this is, just to repeat what we said, they've already got the card drawn up and ready. That's a great stroke. Let's pick that off the stumps and hit it way back. Hit it into the bunch of his own supporters.
And that, I'm afraid, is 4 more. For the first time, James Hopes has a cause to grumble. He is really on the wrong end of Jayasuriya here.
That was a good shot. He knew the slip had been taken out, and he just gave it a lovely little wristy touch. Quite deliberately, he was looking exactly where the ball went. Super piece of cricket. Now, Brett Dorey has been substituted out there after 4 overs for 35. James Hopes is into his 5th over with 53 off him. However, he is one of the 5 bowlers used so far. Lee and Bracken have done well, 21 and 22 off them respectively. The green-coloured ones, the ones the bowler doesn't want to see, let alone think about, they are the ones that have gone to or over the boundary.
Guess that's what happens if you keep the pressure on. Little fumbles, and it's 1 for 149.
Yes.
That's plenty of spin. Exciting as that is for Brad Hogg, it'll be no disappointment to Murali, to Bandara, to, well, even to Sanat Jayasuriya. Kind of pace that Jayasuriya would like when he's 36 years old, but it's reserved for the trainer and the 12th man. So the scoreboard ticks over, a rate of 6.1. 1 for 158. As we move into the second part of this first innings of what promises to be an enthralling VB series match. Really good to see Australia chasing at night. A huge crowd in here at the Sydney Cricket Ground.
Oh.
It's a lovely 50. Really is a good innings. He's a classy cricketer. He's had a wonderful summer when he's been in Australia, both for the ICC 11 and now for his own country, the Sri Lankans.
Oh.
One ball to go in his second over, Hogg, and he's had only 6 taken from him so far.
4 singles from that over. Contrast that with Brett Dorey, who he substituted, who bowled 4 overs for 35. It's 1 for 160.